The stars were silent. In the dark, a single spiral of light slowly turned. A small label floated beside it, Milky Way Galaxy, one of trillions. Below that, another line appeared. Escape attempts, many. Success, zero. The narrator's voice spoke over the starfield. Calm, clear, simple. For millions of years, many powerful civilizations tried to leave their home galaxies. They built giant ships, opened bright gates in space, and jumped into the dark between galaxies. None of them came back. The scene shifted. Now a huge council hall hung in space just outside the Milky Way. The galaxy filled the windows like a glowing wheel of fire. Inside the hall, different alien species sat in curved rows. Some had metal bodies, some had fur, some were made of light. Their shapes were strange, but their eyes all watched the same thing. In the center of the hall, a hologram of the Milky Way galaxy rotated slowly. Red dots flashed in many places. Each red dot was an old escape attempt. A tall alien with crystal skin stood at the front. This was the council leader. Its voice echoed through the hall. For ages, it said, we have tried to leave this galaxy. We used engines, we used wormholes, we used pure energy forms, and every time the result is the same. It waved a hand. A red dot near one spiral arm grew larger. The hologram zoomed in and showed a fleet of shining ships. The ships rushed toward a bright circle in space, a wormhole. The circle twisted like liquid light. Then, in one moment, the circle collapsed into a black hole. The ships vanished. The signal cut. Silence filled the hall. Every attempt to cross the true void, the council leader said, ends like this. This pattern is now called the Event Horizon Curse. The aliens whispered to each other. Some nodded, some looked away. Many had lost people, fleets, whole colonies in these tries. At the very back of the hall, almost hidden in shadow, sat a small human figure. Dr. Aisha Khan. Species, human. Origin, Earth. Age, 34 standard years. Her name and details appeared in a small floating window beside her head. Compared to the tall, ancient aliens, she looked young and fragile, just one human in a hall full of galactic powers. Some aliens turned their eyes toward her. A young species, one whispered. They still dream of impossible things, another replied. They will learn, said a third. The galaxy is a cage, no one leaves. The narrator spoke again. No civilization in all recorded history ever crossed from one galaxy to another and sent back proof. Not one. And yet, in the back of the hall, one human is not ready to accept this answer. On the hologram, the Milky Way kept spinning, beautiful and cruel. Aisha sat very still. Her dark eyes watched the red dots of failure. But she was not looking at the same thing as the others. She was searching for a pattern. The council leader continued its report. Wormholes, it said, are our best tools. They are shortcuts in space. You enter at one point and exit far away in a moment. We use them to move between stars. But whenever a wormhole is aimed outside the Milky Way, it raised a hand. The hologram showed a wormhole at the edge of the galaxy, glowing bright. A ship moved toward it. The wormhole suddenly twisted. Its light cracked like glass. It became a circle of pure darkness. Communication ends, the leader said. Sensors break. No signal returns. It is as if the universe itself removes the traveler from reality. A title appeared over the hologram. Status, no known escape. The hall grew dimmer. The galaxy outside the window looked less like a home and more like a prison. The narrator's voice lowered. Some civilizations gave up. They turned inward. They said, "This is enough. Our galaxy is big. We do not need the others." The hologram changed. It now showed old records, a golden empire burning its star maps, a machine race locking its wormhole gates, a species made of gas folding its wings and sinking into a nebula. But humans, the narrator said, do not think like that. At the back of the hall, Aisha gently touched the bracelet on her wrist. It showed a small, simple image, earth blue, white, and green. Next to it in tiny text was a quote, "If there is a wall, there must be a way over it." This quote was from an ancient human, a mountaineer long forgotten by the galaxy, but not forgotten by her. A smaller, separate room appeared on screen. This was the interspecies research lab near Saturn. Here, human and alien scientists worked together. In a flashback, Aisha stood in front of a display explaining wormholes to a group of younger researchers. "A wormhole," she said, "is like a door between two rooms. Normal travel is like walking the full distance in the hallway. A wormhole is opening a door from your room straight into another room far away." She used simple shapes, 2 circles for rooms, a long line for the hallway, and a curved line that cut through space. "Problem is," she added, "every time we put one end of the door outside the galaxy, the door doesn't just close, it reacts." An alien student raised a hand. "Reacts how?" Aisha tapped the screen. On it, old data from alien ships appeared, distorted waves, broken signals, strange noise. "At first, everyone thought this was just static," she said. "Broken signal, random chaos." She zoomed in. The noise turned into a line of peaks and valleys, a repeated pattern almost like a rhythm. "But humans are good with patterns," the narrator said. "Very good." Aisha overlaid a simple beat on the screen. The peaks matched perfectly. "It's like a heartbeat," she whispered. Back in the council hall, the debate continued. Some aliens argued to ban more experiments. Others demanded new tries. Many were tired. Many were scared. "We must accept our prison," one ancient voice said. "To push more is to risk everything." The council leader raised its shining hands. "No more exit attempts will be allowed without approval," it announced. "The Milky Way must remain stable. We cannot anger whatever lies beyond the edge." All eyes turned again to the human scientist. "Aisha Khan of Earth," the leader said, "your species has requested permission for a new wormhole test, one that does not aim for a star inside the galaxy, but for the empty space between galaxies." A hush fell over the room. "Explain why we should allow this." Aisha stood up slowly. Her voice was steady, but there was fire inside it. "Because," she said, "you have tried to escape, but you have never tried to communicate." The hall murmured. She pointed to the heartbeat pattern on the screen. "Something is there," she said. "When we open a wormhole, the noise is not random. It pulses, it repeats. It looks like a response, not just physics, not just failure. Something reacts when we try to leave." The narrator cut in. In that moment, one simple, dangerous idea formed in her mind. What if the wormholes were not just tunnels in space, but a living network that watched every attempt to leave the galaxy? Aisha finished her request. "Give us one probe," she said. "No crew, no fleet, just a single human-made machine. Aim it at the space between galaxies. Let us listen to what answers." Silence. The galaxy outside the window turned slowly like an eye. Finally, the council leader spoke. "Request granted." The last scene of Part 1 formed. A small, sharp human probe floated in front of a swirling blue wormhole at the edge of the Milky Way. Light twisted around it like a storm. In the control room, humans and aliens watched the countdown. 10, 9, 8. The narrator left the audience with one question. For the first time in history, a human machine will ask the dark between galaxies a question. If something answers, will it let us go or erase us like all the others? The screen faded to black as the probe entered the wormhole. The probe fell into the wormhole like a stone into dark water. One moment the stars were normal. The next they stretched into long white lines. Then there were no stars at all, only black. In the control room near Saturn, every eye watched the main screen. Humans and aliens sat together, silent. The only sound was the soft beeping of the probe's signal. Beep, beep, beep. Dr. Aisha Khan stood at the front, hands tight behind her back. Her face was calm, but her heart beat fast. On the side of the screen, a small graph showed the old pattern she had studied before, peaks and valleys, a rhythm. Now a second line appeared below it, the probe's live signal from inside the wormhole. The two lines began to move. At first they were not the same. Then slowly they started to match. Beep, beep, beep. The wormhole's heartbeat and the probe's signal began to fall into step. "The pattern is locking," one alien engineer said, voice sharp. "This has never happened before." Inside the wormhole, the probe's camera tried to see. At first there was nothing, just darkness. Then the darkness began to move. The screen showed long, faint lines of light like veins under skin. They ran along the sides of an invisible tunnel, branching and bending. The probe turned its lights up. The lines pulsed with a soft glow. "It looks organic," someone whispered. Aisha stared. She remembered her idea from before, a living network. A nervous system wrapped around the galaxy. The narrator's voice cut in, calm but tense. For ages they thought wormholes were only math and energy, just tricks of space. But now, for the first time, a camera shows something else. Shapes like nerves, movements like breath, a tunnel that does not just exist, it reacts. The probe sent back more data, temperature, field strength, strange spikes that did not fit any model. One graph on the side of the screen flashed red. "Unknown interaction," the system warned. The council leader watched from a secure link in the Great Hall by the galaxy's edge. Many alien advisors stood behind it, eyes wide. "If this network is alive," one of them said, "we are inside its body." Back in the control room, the beeping grew faster. Beep, 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 beep. The heartbeat pattern on the screen changed to match. It was no longer slow and steady. It was excited or alarmed. "Is it afraid?" a young human asked. "Or angry?" an alien answered. The tunnel around the probe began to twist. The vein-like lines thickened and curled inward. For a moment, it was like the wormhole wanted to push the probe out, like a body spitting out a splinter. The ship shook. The image on the screen broke into static. "No, no, no," Aisha breathed. "Stabilize the field," shouted an engineer. Power levels rose. The probe's tiny reactor burned hot, holding its shape against the twisting tunnel. The narrator spoke softly. For every other civilization, this was the end. The tunnel closed, the ships vanished, the story stopped here. But this time it did not end. The static cleared. The camera saw something ahead, not just more tunnel, a wide, dark circle. In the middle of it, a shape. At first it looked like a hole inside a hole, pure black, deeper than the rest. Then it blinked. It was an eye, not a human eye, not an animal eye, just a round region where the lines bent inward, focusing, watching. The probe's motion slowed, not by its own engines. Something in the tunnel was holding it, like a hand around a toy. "Signal strength?" Aisha asked. "Strong," the engineer said. "Too strong. Something is boosting it from the other side." On the other monitors, old records from other escape attempts played. Broken audio, static, flashes of light before ships vanished. Aisha ordered, "Overlay the old noise with our current signal." The two audio tracks joined. Suddenly, the random noise from old lost missions snapped into the same heartbeat pattern on the screen, the same rhythm, the same pulse. Those ships were not just destroyed, Aisha said softly. They were contacted. The room grew even quieter. For ages, the narrator said, they heard a warning and called it static. They felt a hand and called it death. But humans kept listening. The council leader interrupted on the main link. "Shut it down," it ordered. "If this thing controls all wormholes, if we anger it, it can close every gateway in the galaxy. We will be trapped in normal space forever." Some aliens agreed, some shouted for safety, some begged them to cut the connection. Aisha shook her head. "If we cut now," she said, "we learn nothing, and we will still be trapped. We must try to speak, not just run." She looked at the heartbeat pattern. "If it uses rhythm, we will answer with rhythm." She turned to the team. "Prepare the second probe." In a nearby hangar, another small craft waited. It was almost the same as the first, but inside it carried something new. A database of human music, brain-wave recordings, images of human art, human chaos, human kindness, human war. Simple, raw, honest. The narrator explained it in clear words. Humans decide to show the network what they are, not as a perfect race, not as a quiet race, but as something too strange to erase. They launched the second probe into the wormhole. On the screen, it followed the same glowing tunnel, the same veins, the same dark eye. This time, Aisha sent a signal ahead. It was a simple tune, a melody built from the heartbeat pattern. She took the wormhole's rhythm and twisted it in a human way. She turned it into music. The second probe drifted closer to the eye. The song played over the radio, a clear, repeating line. The heartbeat pattern on the screen changed again. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the pattern matched the song. Beat, beat, pause, beat, beat, pause. The living tunnel echoed the human tune. The veins around the probe glowed brighter. They pulsed in time with the music. The eye widened, lines bending back like surprise. In the control room, a small message flashed in alien script. "Interaction positive." An alien scientist looked at the data with disbelief. "It's copying us," they said. "It is not blocking this time." Aisha's eyes were bright. "Good," she whispered. "Now we ask the question." She sent a simple data burst from the probe. No long speech. No complicated words, just a basic pattern in math. "Request exit galaxy." The dark eye pulsed once, twice. The tunnel around the probe began to stretch. The lines pulled outward, forming a long, narrow throat of light. At the far end, a tiny point appeared, not starlight, not Milky Way light, a soft gray glow, empty space. "The void between galaxies," someone said. "We've never seen it with a live camera before." The narrator lowered their voice. "The living tunnel is making a choice. For billions of years it closed, it erased, it stayed silent. Now for the first time it opens just a little." Both probes were pulled forward, the first damaged but still sending. The second singing its strange human tune. The dark eye moved back, watching, adjusting the tunnel as if it were opening a careful wound. In the council hall, many aliens fell to their knees. Others simply stared. "If this works," the leader said softly, "our understanding of the universe is wrong. The cage can open." The probes reached the end of the tunnel. Light burst across the control room screen. A wide, cold sea of darkness appeared. No stars close by, just the faint, distant glow of many galaxies far away, like islands on a black ocean. The sensors confirmed it. "Location outside the Milky Way, intergalactic space." The room exploded in shouts and gasps. On the side of the screen where the heartbeat pattern used to be, new text appeared, strange symbols. Then the system translated them into simple words. Access granted, one species. Everyone went silent again. One species. The narrator spoke the words slowly. The network did not break. It did not die. It made an exception. Aisha felt a chill. Why only us? She whispered. Why humans? Behind her, the galaxy turned on another screen. A new mark appeared on the Milky Way's map, next to the label for her home planet. A small, bright tag, HUMANS Special Protocol. The living tunnel closed behind the probes, but the mark stayed. The last image of Part 2 froze, the Milky Way glowing in the distance, the tiny probe floating in the dark outside it, and the quiet text at the bottom of the screen. For the first time in history, someone has left. But no one yet knew the price. The first image from outside the Milky Way stayed frozen on every screen in the galaxy. A soft, gray darkness. The Milky Way far behind, a shining wheel of light. The tiny human probe, just a speck in the middle of endless night. For a long time, no one spoke. In the control room near Saturn, humans and aliens sat like statues. The air felt heavy. They all understood what had just happened. Somebody had left. The narrator's voice came in low and steady. For billions of years, every attempt ended in silence. Now a machine made by a young, stubborn species floats in a place no one else has ever reached, and the universe has answered with 3 simple words. On the screen, the message still glowed. Access granted. One species, not all, not approved flight, not success, just this. Dr. Aisha Khan stared at the words. They felt like a door half open and half closed. Around her, the control room woke up again. "We did it!" A young human shouted. "This changes everything," an alien whispered. Another alien, older and colder, narrowed its eyes. "Or it changes nothing for us," it said. "Only for them." The narrator explained the new fear slowly. The living network did not open a highway. It did not welcome the galaxy. It made a choice. It picked one race out of many and gave them the key. In the council hall by the edge of the Milky Way, the reaction was even stronger. Some alien delegates cheered. Some screamed in rage. Some simply watched with quiet, dark eyes. The council leader stood still, crystal body glowing faintly. "Confirm it again," it ordered. A scientist replayed the translation. The message from the network stayed the same. Access granted. One species. "Which species?" another delegate asked, though all of them already knew. The answer flashed under the text. "Human Earth active." A hiss of anger moved through the hall. "A Deathworld species?" one alien shouted. "They fight their own people. They poison their own sky. And now they will hold the exit." "They are reckless," another cried. "They will break the network. They will break us all." A quiet voice spoke from the back. "Or they will do what none of us could," said an old, soft-bodied alien. "They will open the way." The camera shifted back to the human lab. Aisha turned away from the screen. She breathed out slowly. "Bring the probes home," she said. The engineers tried. They sent the command to pull the probes back through the wormhole. The living tunnel responded. The dark eye blinked. But instead of returning to the Milky Way, the probes were pulled to the side into another tunnel, a thinner one, a private line. New text appeared on the monitor. "Persist, observe, wait," the narrator spoke. The network did not return the probes. It kept them as watchers. It wanted them to stay outside to look at the galaxy from the dark sea beyond. Aisha understood the message. "It wants us to decide," she said softly. "From out there." The council leader opened a direct channel to her lab. Its crystal face appeared above the main console. Dr. Aisha Khan of Earth, it said, your species has been marked as an exception by the wormhole network. We must know why. So must we, she answered. Then we ask the same question, the leader said. Will you share this key or keep it? The room went quiet again. The narrator explained the choice in simple words. Humans now stand in a place no one else has reached. They can try to leave alone, become the first travelers between galaxies, or they can fight to open the door wider and risk angering the only thing that controls the tunnels in space. Aisha did not answer at once. She looked at the small image on her bracelet, earth, blue and green, clouds like white brushstrokes. She remembered the mountaineer's words, if there is a wall, there must be a way over it. But she added her own silent line, and someone must decide who climbs first. Play the message again, she said. The heartbeat pattern from the network pulsed across the screen. Then the three words again: persist, observe, wait. An idea took shape in her mind. It was large, dangerous, and very human. What if, she said slowly, it did not choose us because we are good, but because we are loud? The team stared at her. Loud? A young alien asked. Yes, she said. We do not stop. We try, fail, try again. We make music out of noise. We turn pain into art. We turn fear into questions. The network has closed its doors to every race that tried to escape like a thief. She pointed at the probe feed from outside the galaxy. We did not whisper, she said. We knocked on the door and sang. The narrator summarized it. Other civilizations tried to slip away quietly. Humans announced themselves. The network did not crush them. It listened. The council leader's crystal skin flickered. If you stay silent now, it said, if you keep this power only for your species, you will become the very cage we fear. Aisha closed her eyes. Images flashed in her head. Human wars, human kindness, a child looking up at the night sky, a probe floating in the cold, dark sea between galaxies. When she opened her eyes again, they were steady. We will not be a cage, she said, but we cannot just hand over the key either. If the network fears chaos, we must show it we can guide it. How? Someone asked. She gave the simplest answer. We lead. The plan was simple but huge. Step 1. Humans would build a gate station at the edge of the Milky Way, a place where the living network touched the galaxy most strongly, a place where they could talk to it more clearly. Step 2. They would ask the network to open controlled paths, narrow tunnels just wide enough for small ships under strict rules. Step 3. They would invite other species to join them under a code: no war, no weapons, no conquest missions, only research, exploration, and refuge. The narrator spoke. Humans would become the first guides between galaxies, not owners, not rulers, gatekeepers with dirty hands and hopeful hearts. Many aliens hated the idea, many loved it, most were simply afraid. In the end, fear of never leaving the galaxy was heavier than fear of trusting humans. The council leader gave its answer. Very well, it said. Build your station, talk to the network. If you open a path, we will come. Time passed. The last scenes moved fast, like a montage. Workers building a huge ring-shaped station at the galaxy's edge. Wormhole veins glowing brighter around it, drawn like nerves to a new brain. Humans and aliens side by side, installing translators, sensors, music arrays. They called it the threshold. On the day of the first full test, the Milky Way hung behind the station like a giant halo. Hundreds of ships waited at a safe distance. Aisha stood at the main console. Her fingers hovered over the control. We do this together, she said. Human and not human, one request, one voice. She sent the signal. A new song built from many species' heartbeats played into the tunnel. Human drums, alien pulses, machine rhythms, all layered into one strange, beautiful pattern. The living network listened. The veins around the station burned with light. A tunnel opened, larger than before, stretching out toward the dark between galaxies. Text appeared, slow and heavy, as if written by something vast and unsure. Access granted, limited, multi species under human guide. The narrator almost smiled. The universe did not bow, it negotiated. Ships from many worlds moved into formation behind the human lead vessel. Their engines glowed. The first intergalactic convoy aimed itself at the living tunnel. As they moved forward, the camera pulled back. First from the convoy, then from the threshold station, then from the Milky Way, now just a bright wheel behind them. In front of them, the tunnel waited, open and alive. The narrator spoke the final words. For a long time, the galaxy believed no one could leave. Then one loud, stubborn species refused to accept silence as an answer and turned a prison wall into a door. The last image stayed on screen. A small human-led fleet disappearing into a living line of light, the Milky Way behind them, and a universe of other galaxies ahead. A single line of text faded in at the bottom. This was the day the universe stopped being a cage and became a road.